So if anybody knows anyone else interested in this, you can just let them know that this is going on quickly, because it will be very short, because you know, it's me talking. But if does anyone know anybody though that is interested in like teaching English online or writing online in general? Because this is for writing, or oh, thank you. This one is for writing as well as it's for the teaching online. So all right, perfect. So I think I'll start with the writing, because I'm not really going to go really far in detail with the writing, to be honest, because that's not my specialty, right? But I can offer some advice on it based on what I do know, because I know some other companies that do hire for writing. So any questions, as I said, you guys can type them. I'll go through them afterwards. All right, so let me start with the writing, sorry. All right, so freelance writing in general, it's hard to say. For example, you know, for other stuff, you can choose one specific company and you work with that company alone. For writing online, you can literally submit articles to magazines, but it's to know which magazines actually looking for writers, right? So there's one specific one I know, if you like traveling and stuff like that, called On Anchor Travel. I know they specifically like want you to write an itinerary of some things that they can do in your country. So I think that one is a good one, and I heard the pay is good. I've actually written to them, so I know that it's legit and stuff like that. So you guys could check it out. There's also a listing, I believe, on the blog. If you go on it, you can see a list of companies that you can write for. Now, the typical thing that everyone does is when it comes on to the writing, they go for, I don't know if you guys ever heard of a company called Hire Writers, things like those. They literally hire you to write short stuff, maybe an advertisement, or just literally maybe 5 lines, 10 lines, 350 words. But it's like those are more like little task jobs, but you can still earn from them depending on how much you write or type. You can do blogging, but you know the blogging thing comes with a whole lot more. But if you love writing, then I think it's a great way to go as well. There's also, so there's a magazine, there's a magazine called Verge magazine. They usually also accept persons who are interested in writing. So you have Verge magazine, Hire Writers, hey guys, you have On Anchor Travel, you have Clear Voice, you have Scripted. As I said, for the writing in depth, if you're really interested in writing and writing for magazines and companies and stuff like that, you can check out the blog, and there's a listing of it there. And thanks again, and to everyone joining in, welcome. And for everyone still commenting on the earrings, so far everyone has been saying they like the earrings. Anyone that likes it, you could check out Adornable Accessories on Instagram with the code EPIC2020. You could get a discount. She has really nice stuff, and she has for both males and females. Right, so on to the, any questions re the writing online? Anyone? If you have any questions, you could just let me know. So on to the teaching English online now. That's one whole different process. All right, so I'm going to start with what exactly ESL is, because a lot of persons will ask, if I say I do ESL, the first question is, what's that? So ESL is teaching English as a second language, right? So that means you'll teach the persons who already have a first language or maybe two, and they want to learn how to speak English. Usually, they already have some level of experience. When it comes on to the online part, they already either maybe know the basic stuff, but sometimes you might be teaching like a 60-year-old the ABC, but it's still fun at the end of the day. You get to teach persons from all over the world, so you learn a lot about the different cultures, And a lot of opportunities can actually come from that for you to travel and teach. You could pretty much, for me, I love traveling. If you know me, you know I love it. It's something where you can go somewhere for 3 months, 6 months, and you can teach online, and then you can enjoy the culture. You can do whatever you want in that free time. If you prefer to stay here, you can do it just the same, and then you take the days and you can go North Coast, wherever, but you could travel and work at the same time. And I think that's one of my favorite things from it. Added to that now, you personally don't have to go looking for clients and things like that unless you decide to start your own company and you're doing it on your own. Then you're going to have to find clients. But usually these companies already have the clients set out for you, so you just literally go and you teach a class. You don't have to have usually to teach the lessons and stuff like that, you don't have to have you don't have to prepare lesson plans. For any teacher on here who knows about lesson plans, you don't have to go through that. You literally get the lesson like maybe a day before, and you can go through it if you want, if not, but it's all there and you have access to it. All right, so someone is asking, Marie says, do you have to be a trained teacher or do they offer certification? All right, good question. So read the certification. It's very important to have the TESOL or TEFL certification. To get that, you could do it online. Also in the blog, I posted 2 that I am sure of, because you have to be very careful because some of these companies are not legit, right? Because the ESL is an upcoming and growing market, you have to be very mindful. So the one I used specifically was UniPrep. I think it's somewhere between $200 to $250 to get certified with UniPrep. There's also TEFL UK. I'm not sure at how much their price is right now. But with UniPrep for sure, the certification, they give you a year to complete it. You can complete it in 2 days, 3 days, a week. It's really simple. It's done online. It's straightforward. You get the chance to do the test twice. So you should pass, right? And it's also accredited. That's very important, because most of the good companies that hire, they want to ensure that the certification is accredited. If it was maybe 2 years ago, it really didn't matter. But now they really want to make sure that the certifications are legit. And then once you complete the course, they actually will send the certificate to you by mail, so you'll have the physical certification to say, yes, I completed this course. So I recommend UniPrep, but it's not a must. But I can tell you of that one for sure because it's the one I used. And TEFL UK is also a good one. Now, I know earlier someone also asked about some of the tools for teaching online. It's not something where you're supposed to spend an arm and a leg, but it's good to have a good headset. Most times I recommend the Microsoft Live Chat. I personally like the Microsoft Live Chat, but the one I'm going to show you is not the one I prefer. But I'm going to show you why. This one is a Microsoft Live Chat 3000. It's a good headset. The problem is the mouthpiece here. It's very flexible. And because of that, whatever the cords on the inside can get damaged very easily. So if you're not good with the flexibility of it, if you know you're going to move up and down, then I wouldn't recommend that you get this one. But there's another one called the Microsoft Live Chat 4000 or 6000. That one I do recommend because here is very solid. So it's a straight piece, so it wouldn't break or bend in any way, so you don't have any problems with it. With the Live Chat 3000, you would end up maybe changing it midway in the year. With the other one, it's more long term. Again, all of these things are attached on the website, so feel free to check it out. All right. And then added to that, I also recommend one of these. It's a USB hub. Not a must, but it's very convenient for if you normally have a lot of things plugged in to your laptop or computer. It has a part for the Ethernet cord, which I also recommend. So even if you do have the Wi-Fi, connect it straight to your computer or your laptop when you do lessons, right? Because that's also very important. So these are the two main tools, and a computer, of course, or a laptop. You can't do it from your phone unless you have phone companies also that do hire apps where you could teach from as well. Hi, welcome. But those are, to be honest, they normally mostly hire from like the US and Canada. But you do have companies that you could teach on the phone specifically, but most they require a computer, right? Like for example, a popular one is Cambly. Cambly you could teach from the phone, but I don't think they are hiring currently. The website. All right, so for the website, Vonne, which website for the tools? It's on the blog. So the link is on my page, and you'll see a blog post saying tools for teaching online, and you'll see the listing of the tools. You'll see some from where you could get them from Amazon, the specific ones that I recommended. All right, and but for teaching with the companies now, it's more they see you, you might not see them sort of vibe. For example, with some companies, you can have up to 6, 7, 10 students in a class, or for some, you can just have like a one-on-one. As again, it depends on the company. But for the ones that have like maybe 6 students, what will happen is most times they can see you, but you can't see them. But if you have a one-on-one class, then you can see them, they can see you. I personally love one of the companies I work with because they give you the chance to literally just free talk. So if you have a student from another country who they just want to talk, you could just talk about anything. Like the #1 topic now that everyone talks about is the coronavirus. So like I'll have maybe 5-10 lessons for the day, and every class the conversation is about corona. Basically what they want to learn at the end of the lesson is pretty much how to use their tenses, just grammar, vocabulary, things like those, making that proper sentence structure. So it's really simple stuff, it's not hard. So the process is really to get certified, and then you can choose from a company that you want to apply to. In applying though, be mindful, because not all companies pay well, right? So you have to look for one where the pay makes sense. You have some where the pay absolutely makes no sense. And sorry to say, but like for speaking from like a Jamaican perspective, I see that we tend to be underpaid in this field compared to persons in other countries, because of, I think our accent may be a little bit different. It's not like an US accent or British or whichever. But you do have companies that do pay you for it. But then you also have companies where you can set your own pricing. That is perfect for if you want to start up your own thing, because that way you set your own pricing, they still find the students for you, but it's a case where you maybe have to be fast in terms of getting the students. But that's also a great way to look at it. So I think pretty much that's how the whole teaching thing. So the process is, you go ahead, you get certified. Following the certification, following the certification, you're going to go ahead and apply. Now the process is really short. Usually you hear back from a company within a day or two. And once you hear back from them, they usually set up an interview. Now the interview is, it's trying to choose the right word. It's okay, like it can be challenging if it's the first one you're doing, but if you've done it a few times, then it gets easier. But for some companies, they might give you like some words, like a big word. For example, they might give you the word expensive, and then they ask you to break it down as if you're talking to like a 6-year-old. So of course you can't use back the same word, and you have to find the smaller words to use in order for them to understand. And another thing is, for the interview, you have to talk slowly, because you have to remember that you're teaching them and they would not necessarily understand what you're saying. So you have to talk slowly, right? So that they can grasp everything. So those are just some little interview tips. And they love, if you guys, for the persons on, you know I love laughing. So the laughing part and the smiling is also key. Like, it's the most important thing. I think it's even more important than the interview itself, to be honest. Just smiling and laughing and interacting with the interviewer, all of that I think is a plus. So those are some of the things that they really look out for. All right. I think that's pretty much everything. I don't know if anyone has any questions as it relates to the teaching online in general or the freelance writing. If not, I am going to just tell you guys about some work from home stuff and then we wrap up. Any questions? All right, so for the freelancing in general, how to earn additionally on the side, whatever you do, right? You could do freelance writing or just freelance whatever skill you have. You could all right, so back to the teaching, the pay range, honestly, it really depends on the companies. Remember I stated some companies pay very bad, as low as like $2 per hour or per lesson. And then it depends on the lesson. Some lessons could be half an hour, some lessons could be at 45 minutes or more. But it ranges from that $2 something, maybe up to, on average with a company, maybe up to like $30. Let me put it at 30. But then other than that, now if you decide to do it by yourself with one of those platforms that I spoke of earlier, then you could set your pay rate. But usually for something that you can set your pay rate with, I still recommend that you start at a reasonable rate if it is that you're just starting out. Because if you're just starting and you have a high price and no experience, then that's going to be a problem in terms of getting clients. So I think the more you get clients, then the more you can increase your rate, and then you could set it to how much you want. Because I know it has the potential of earning like way more. Like I've seen persons make like maybe $200 or 200 and something from teaching persons about the whole ESL and doing it over a period of time per lesson, right? So once you get the skill and you're really good at it and you can set your pricing, it's up to you. All right, so that answers your question. Very good question. So how do you receive pay? Usually what they do is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Pioneer MasterCard. I think that is the ideal thing to get paid through. Not all companies use it. Some will pay you through PayPal, some pay you through Pioneer, some pay you through wire transfer. I usually recommend the Pioneer because it's the easiest method, because it goes directly to the account, it goes there on the day, things like that. If it's wire transfer, it might take a little time. The Pioneer is easy to get. You could just sign up for it online. Once you have, I think, over a certain amount on the card, they will send you a physical MasterCard. Usually they used to just send it, but now you have to have some money in the account and then they send you the MasterCard and the company pays to that, right? So I recommend Pioneer, but those are how they normally pay. Those are the methods I know of. So PayPal, Pioneer, wire transfer. But not all companies do the wire transfer. Some specifically require Pioneer. So I always recommend people get that and use that as like your online card if you want, so to speak, instead of using your personal like local bank accounts and stuff like that. So you have that. And also there's a link to that on the blog as well with the payment methods, how you can get started. I don't know if Pioneer still does it too. They used to do a referral program, so that's another way you could earn additionally with it, where if you introduce someone, you usually, once they have a certain amount, you get $25 and they also get $25, and that's how it grows too. But I think the Pioneer is the best bet if it is that you're looking to work online in general, right? And here you can just go to the machine and you can draw whether you want the local or the US dollars. So it's very convenient. All right, thanks for that question. That was a good question. All right, so feel free to type any other questions. It's still open. So So in the meantime, for other work from home stuff, if anyone is on the call that likes photography, that's a great method. If I don't know if you guys know, but like there are lots of ways you can sell your photos online. For example, Adobe Studio, you have a lot of different places that you can sell your photography work online. I think that's good, but I think it depends on how you do it. It can be a hobby or it can be like a real deal. So it really depends on you. Most of these things, honestly, you could work it as a hobby, a side hustle, whichever, or you can make it the real deal. Up to you. There's also transcription work. Transcription would be like you're changing over something in terms of from an audio file to a text file, or it might be to caption conversations. Like, you know, we watch the shows on TV and they need caption. Companies like Rev, I know, do that. If you're good with any other language, as much as I teach English as a second language, that's the only language I know. But if you're good with languages, you can do translation. You can find translation jobs online as well. If you're an accountant, good with accounting, you can do bookkeeping. You can do bookkeeping freelance if you know persons who are looking for that, or you can find companies online that want it. The number one business today, the call centers. You can work online for a call center versus going in to a physical call center. I don't know, mindset wise, I just hated going in physically to a 9 to 5. So I always found different ways around that. And the main thing was the teaching English online, right? There's blogging if you want. A lot of persons now going to YouTube. There is, we had a talk earlier this week with the voiceover artist. So there are many different opportunities. Just find your skill and just hone it and just build on it. I can guarantee you that there's something out there. Even social media management, like all of those things are available if you're looking for opportunities. You have you have those websites, yes, like Freelancer and Upwork and all of those things. But to be honest, I personally am not a big fan of those, but they are good and they do work. But I don't have the patience, right? Because they require that you bid on jobs and then you're there bidding and somebody else gets the job. And so I personally am not a big fan of them, but they do work, right? I know Fiverr is good too. The online teaching hours, very good question again. I don't know how I forgot these things. So for the hours, it's really flexible. It's up to you, which is great. But again, it depends on the company. For some companies, for example, if the students are in China, you know, the time zones are different. So the class hours would be like 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then like maybe 12 a.m. to maybe 3 a.m. So it could be some bad hours. But if they are like anywhere in the world, then you can have class any time of the day. So it really depends on the company. But the good thing is for each company, you still get to set within whatever hours they give you, you get to set what times you want to do classes. So if you don't want to do the early mornings, you don't have to. If you prefer the late nights, you do the late nights. If you prefer to use the day, you use the day. If you prefer to do hours after work, you can do hours after work. For me personally, sometimes I do some ridiculous hours, and then sometimes I literally just like easy and relax for a bit. Because I personally, other than yes, it's work and all of that, it's something that I love. Like I literally love it. Just as I said, I love traveling. So when you learn a lot about the cultures and the people, I don't know, so I like it. So the hours really are up to you or depending on the company, right? So I think that covers all the questions related to teaching online. All right, so for some of the companies now, there are like over 100 companies that hire persons to teach English online. But for the Jamaicans or any Caribbean persons like that in the group, see, someone else says she works the ridiculous hours too. Exactly. But for like some of us that might be whether in Jamaica or maybe in the Caribbean, in terms of these online teaching jobs, you have to look carefully and you have to be picky because not all of them will hire Jamaicans, right? I've had, just to share an experience, I've went through an entire interview process with one of the best online teaching companies. I got through. They saw that I was Jamaican, they heard that I was Jamaican, and when it got to the part where they got my passport to get the information, I didn't hear anything else. So I figured it was because they realized that, okay, so she's still living in Jamaica. I didn't get through. I have been doing it since 2016, sorry. Right, 2016, almost 4 years. And it's been great. And within that time, I've done it with 3 different companies. But now I'm specifically with one that I love. It's been because with that one I'm with now, I can do classes any time of the day. With the other ones, I had like specific hours I could do classes. So I love the availability of classes any day of the week at any time. So it's really up to me. All right. And then for anyone, if it is that you guys have kids or anything like that, it's really good to be working from home, because then they can be at home with you. You don't have to, like, you know, send them to the nursery if you don't want to. Or if you want to homeschool them, you can homeschool them. Like, you are a little bit more in control, I guess, of your decisions and things that you would want to do. So with that said, I think we covered everything. Thank you guys for the questions. So do we have any other questions now before I finish this? Any questions? All right, thank you guys so much for listening in. Right, we've been trying to use this month to just make persons aware of things to do from home, because we know how everything is now with COVID out there, and people maybe not wanting to go to work. Like myself, I have not been on the road for like maybe over a month now because of COVID. And it's good to know that I can still be at home, and you know, the only thing I need to do is maybe go to the supermarket, which I tried to make sure I went for like 2 months, so I don't have to go yet, right? So it's just those little things I think are what matter for me. So that's where that is at. All right, so look forward to the next talk. That's next week, Tuesday. You're going to hear from a digital marketer. She has a very good story. So you will hear from her. And then on Thursday, we're going to have a vlogger and voiceover artist / media personality from Nigeria. So that's also going to be fun. So you can look out for those coming up. And then we'll have more as the month progresses. So feel free to share the information with friends. This video will be available on YouTube afterwards, so you can go back if there's anything that you missed or that you wanted to know, you can find out. All right, so remember to also go to the new YouTube page, subscribe, right, like, all those things. I'm very new to it, but I know that persons really have been asking me about this stuff, so I'm just trying to provide the material and the information. Hi. So hopefully it helps. All right, so remember to share this if you know anyone who is looking for other alternatives in terms of earning, then you can let them know about the series. All right, so have a great night, everyone. See you guys. Bye, and thanks for joining.